Tonight then here on 11 Sport, our focus is on Inter hosting Torino. Torino had joy under Mazzarri last season on home soil with that 1-0 victory. It was considered one of the statements from Mazzarri's side towards the end of the season after he took over in January. Brought a lot more organisation to this Torino team. Paid dividends. Also was a big blow to Inter's push for the Champions League spots as well, which of course they eventually defeat Lazio on the final day of the season and head themselves into Europe's Premier Club competition. There are expected to be plenty of fans in San Siro this evening. The highest average attendance in Italy last year Inter Milan had. The season tickets have been selling out in a flurry. And there are plenty hoping that the Nerazzurri can finally challenge for a Serie A title. Alongside me this evening is Don Hutchinson. And Don, there's a lot on the line really for both sides in terms of setting their stall for their ambition for this season in Serie A.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at Inter last season, they had some fantastic periods of the season but still finished a massive 23 points off Juve, who romped the league by 4 points over Napoli. That was a really close Scudetto last season. It was a fantastic watch. But you're right, I think especially for Inter Milan being the home side in the San Siro tonight, they'll be looking to put an early marker down after losing last week against the Sassuolo. They need 3 points and a really good performance. I think for Torino and Walter Mazzarri away from home after their loss against Roma, they actually played well in the game. They'll be looking for a similar performance. We're coming out on the right side of the scoreline.
It's difficult for Torino losing someone like Daniele Bazzelli this evening from the middle of the park. Soriano comes in to replace him, getting used to Serie A once again after his time in La Liga, but they will miss something in the middle of the pitch with Bazzelli gone.
Oh, absolutely. And Soriano's got big boots to fill. I think that's why they are best suited when they play a 5. They'll play with 3 at the back and 5 across midfield, and Falcao and Belotti, good partnership up front. But that midfield's going to have to go through a lot of work tonight because the Inter side is full of quality, and Brozovic and Vecino both in central midfield.
We've also got Nangolan perhaps to come off the bench as well this evening. He's still suffering with a slight niggle that is keeping him out, although he did return to training this week back with the first team after spending much of his time so far at Inter training on his own.
It's a good signing, cracking signing from Roma. Now I've commentated on him for quite a while now, for 2 or 3 years, and I think with Rajan Nangolan, he can literally wear any number on the back of his shirt. He can put on a 4 and be a holding midfield player and spray the ball around. He can wear an 8 and go box to box. Last season he used to play as a 10 sometimes when needed off Edin Dzeko, so a real big signing for Inter. Cost a lot of money, but I think in today's market £34 million for someone like Rajan Nangolan isn't too bad.
Both of these sides have spent over the summer, dropping around about £69 million, but Torino too have been ambitious with their spending. £44 million spent in the transfer window, which is big for a side like them. There is an expectation, I guess, when you bring in someone like Mazzarri in January last year, you expect to get over the hump of the struggles they had last year and then really kick on in this season. Yeah, finished 9th last season. I think their main player that's been brought in is Niang from AC Milan, who played in the Premier League at Watford. Is a strange player to watch because he's one of these players where 1 week you can see him and he's full of power. He's all of 6'3", 6'4", can play as a central midfield player, can play as a 9, but normally does his best work off the right-hand side, and he's full of running. And you can see him 1 week being an absolute superstar, and the next week not so good. So consistency is what Niang needs to add to his game. Niang out tonight, apparently due to taking a ball in the eye during training this week. There is also talk that he could actually be pushed out on loan before the end of the loan window. Him and Adem Ljajic.
He's had a lot of clubs, Niang, hasn't he? He's looking at him in the World Cup in the summer, and I think he's had about sort of between 12 and 15 clubs. He doesn't seem to stay too long. He's only a youngster, but I think he had a bad injury about 4 or 5 years ago, which just set him back slightly. But he needs to start churning out some games, 25, 30 games a season.
And you would have thought, with Torino dropping around about £10 million on him, that they would want to keep him around and get him settled in this Torino side and playing in the style and the manner that they want to. Particularly when you saw last week, Lorenzo Di Silvestri came off very early on against Roma, and they're going to need quality replacements for players of that sort of calibre.
And I think that's exactly what he needs. He needs to be settled now. He's done far too much travelling, and he's never churning out the 30, 35 games a season, which is what he needs. And he needs to have a settled personal life, because no doubt has Niang got ability.
Players in the tunnel. Belotti smiles with Icardi and co. The teams wearing those T-shirts that Serie A showing their support and commiserations for those affected by the Genoa bridge tragedy.
That's a nice touch, that.
Of course, Genoa and Sampdoria had their opening games of the season cancelled last weekend, which is why here on 11 Sports we had Milan's opening game of the season away at Napoli last night. The teams come out. We are ready to see what Inter Milan can do on home soil in front of an expected 60 to 70,000 in San Siro this evening. Showing its support for the Nerazzurri, the side that they will follow through thick and thin this season as they try to reel in Juventus and perhaps bring a Scudetto back to Milan once again. Torino, though, more than happy this evening at least to try and upset the homecoming party. Mazzarri, the manager, would love to get one over his former club as he and Spalletti just embrace and shake hands there. Our man in the middle, Paolo Mazzoleni. Certainly a man that has a tendency to give out bookings. Until last season, where he seemed to drop his bookings by about 30 or so. Gave out 45 yellow cards after normally averaging around about 80 to 70 in a Serie A season. Captain. There's a lot on his shoulders this season. And both of the two captains really for their respective sides as centre forwards and certainly seen as the goal scoring talisman of their clubs. Let's take a look at the starting 11 for Inter. 4-3-3 could also be a 3-4-3, but as I say, it does see the return of Ivan Perisic. Vesalco comes into the back four alongside Skriniar as well. The other two arrivals into the starting 11 from those who missed out against Sassuolo last weekend. Torino, they bring in Soriano and Ansaldi into a 3-5-2. Iago Falque and Belotti lead the line. Falque will certainly try and be a provider, but can also be a scorer as well. Mazzarri didn't seem to have too much joy. He was in the Premier League with Watford and he's discussed his time at Inter Milan as well. 49 games he was in charge, and says that upon reflection he feels he actually did more than he got credit for on this ground. Spalletti described as one of the most miserable managers in football. Even when it's going well, it's going badly for him. It went badly last weekend. He really hopes it picks up tonight here on 11 Sports, your home of Serie A. The final game this Sunday in Serie A is Inter against Torino. A last look around and we are underway. Inter Milan in their traditional blue and black stripes, black shorts, and black socks, looking from left to right on your screen. Torino in their chain strip, all white with the maroon trim, kicking from right to left as Inter get us underway. Don Hutchinson, what are you expecting to see from the Nerazzurri tonight in terms of their approach?
Yeah, the tempo has to be better than it was last week. You just see formation-wise, they have gone back to a 3. And I think Vasalico will play down the left-hand side, Asamoah down the left, and Skriniar to the left of the and Ambrosio on the right. So I think they're looking to try and get an extra body in midfield, start the game well. I think always in the San Siro, an iconic stadium. And the home fans want this Nerazzurri team to start well, get on the front foot, get some early chances. But the tempo has to be better than the performance last week against Sassuolo.
Saldi with the long throw, playing against his parent club at Torino on loan. Here last season, or I should say in Turin last season as well with Torino. It's a 2-year deal. Started last weekend due to suspension. Brozovic. Salko. Goes down by Maite. Rincon and Soriano as that central 3 for Torino are going to have a job on their hands. Vecino. First time passing. Moving it down the left flank. Samoa. Just couldn't find a way through.
They are trying to build this into the side. It's a nice little tweet Brozovic sent out in the summer, and he sent the picture of himself, Vasalico, Ivan Perisic, and just saying who's missing. There were a cheeky little tweet towards Luka Modric, who went to try to sign in the summer on a whopping 6-year contract. So they are trying to build, they are trying to bring the Galacticos back to Inter.
Perhaps, or allegedly, illegally with their approach for Luka Modric, and it's Inter Milan as a club in a bit of hot water with La Liga as a league and Javier Tebas. Meantime, Torino coming forward with plenty of space. Maite to keep coming forward as well, getting towards the top of the D before he's eventually closed down, but Brozovic did well backtracking to put him off, and will reclaim possession. So, silly free kick from Rincon.
Potent 3 when they go forward into Perisic, we know will play off the left-hand side. He'll try and come inside as much as he can to try and get close to Mauro Icardi.
Samoa on the charge. Into Rincon though, and Maite, he able to nick it around into space once again. Best ball through the middle, Vecino easily able to pick it off.
This man had a great World Cup, didn't he? Vasalico. Terrific player, can handle the ball, can certainly go up and down that right-hand side. Great delivery.
It's almost a bit of a toss-up between he and Danilo D'Ambrosio as who was going to be the wing-back in this formation for Inter this evening. Salko, here he is again. The best delivery. Samoa goes down by Soriano. Support if needed. It's a good ball in towards Icardi at the near post, but Sirigu getting his hands out to it first and pulling it away from the Argentine.
Yeah, it was good work from Inter, getting to the byline, putting an early cross into the 6-yard box. You see Icardi just trying to get across his marker. Good hands from Sirigu. No drama or stress there.
To Sirigu, wants to try and pass it out from the back. Good closing down though by Perisic.
That's a feature of his game. Ivan Perisic, an unbelievable engine. Closes people down, he can handle the ball, he can go past players when the ball's at his feet.
Certainly felt he was missed last weekend against Sassuolo. Coming off the bench, finally feels he's fit and ready to play 90 minutes after that long World Cup campaign, of course.
He's been a good player for Inter to keep hold of, heavily linked with Manchester United and England in the summer.
Cross to Moretti. Best delivery forward either. Struggling to string passes together in the early going, Torino.
Yeah, it might just take a while for Torino to settle into the game.
Turn away from his man was Bellotti. A little bit crowded though in the vicinity. Space in the meantime for Asamoah.
He's looking for options, but Icardi's not showing just yet. So they have to be patient and keep hold of the ball.
Shouldn't take too long for someone like Brando Asamoah to integrate into this Inter side. Obviously knows the league well, arriving from Juventus this summer. It's a good ball in. It's a really good ball in, and a superb finish by Ivan Perisic. Icardi's low delivery on the turn picked out the Croatian perfectly. It's taken just 6 minutes for Inter to find the breakthrough in their first home game of the season, and that man Perisic in the right place at the right time.
Brilliant ball in from Icardi, stunning finish, exactly what Torino didn't want. Away from home, you want to keep it tight. First 10-15 minutes of the game, the cross was allowed to come in, but what a pick out from Icardi, and the timing of the effort from Ivan Perisic. What a wonderful strike that was. The perfect start for Inter and Spalletti.
5 assists and 4 goals in his last 9 games of last season, and he is starting the new campaign in fine form once more. I think a lot of people in the summer really opened their eyes to Ivan Perisic and just how high quality and high level his play can be in the World Cup for Croatia.
I think what he is, Perisic, is a real throwback, because he's undoubtedly a fantastic talent. As I said before, he can keep the ball at his feet, he's a good runner, can go box to box, he ticks every single box, he's super fit, got a fantastic attitude, but the technical ability he showed on the finish was absolutely first class, not an easy one to hit.
Torino now have to come from behind. After the opening 7.5 minutes, they've seen very little of the ball, and real threat posed to Inter Milan's back line at the moment. Politano trying to get in on the act as well. Looks for Perisic at the far post, but that one's too close to Sirigu.
Well, there was an overload at the far post, and Silvestri had to do a little bit more tracking back. And if that ball was a better ball from Politano, Perisic was arriving at the far post completely unmarked.
Soriano, his side. Sardi was the intended target, but at least get a throw in enemy territory. Nice delivery from Ansaldi. Icardi scrapping to lead a counter-attack back the other way. Here's the Argentine once more. Twisting and turning, looking for space. Falque as well. Rincon can't bring it under control and got crowded out quickly, and suddenly the break is on here as the blue and black shirts flood forward. Brozovic has support to his left. Icardi and Politano in the box. Perisic might go alone. So selfishly perhaps as well.
Yeah, the wide players for Inter are causing Torino problems. The wing backs not tracking back for Torino so far. On that occasion, Perisic was on the left-hand side. Nice little ball in from Brozovic, but Politano again at the far post was absolutely free. Icardi's making some unselfish runs at the moment. He's trying to take care of 3 centre-halves. He's doing it quite well.
High press suddenly from Il Toro. That'll be the first touch for Handanovic. For 10 minutes, he had a scare in midweek that perhaps he wouldn't be fit for this one.
Con 20 minutos de clarísimo dominio del conjunto de Pellegrino.
Confidence about Inter's play, other than the early goal, which always helps on 6 minutes, but they're passing the ball really well.
You get the feeling it could be a long night for Torino.
That's why you have to stay in the game. When you lose an early goal, you mustn't panic, try and get on the ball, be brave. You need characters not to give the ball away.
That goes out for a throw on this near side and gives Inter possession once again.
Where Torino should be strong, they've got 3-man midfield up against Brozovic and Ficino for Inter, so they have to keep the ball through the middle of the park. Inter's strength is out wide. Silvestri comes kindly for Rincon. Again to the
30-year-old winger. Nation once more just trying to feel their way into the game. Visiting side. Rosio with the challenge that goes Torino a free kick.
Yeah, just got too tight there. Centre half, it's a free kick. A naive one, really. Rosio should know better.
Santos lo acaba sacando Héctor Moreno, uno de los jugadores que entró en el segundo periodo de mayo.
A long way around and across, but he is still going at least. Rincon takes over. That'll be touched by Falque. Plenty back behind the ball though for Inter Milan.
It's better from Rincon, keeping hold of the ball. He tried a few diagonals early on which didn't come off. Now he's just keeping it simple.
Down De Silvestri. Oh, that's fancy footwork from Falque. Now what can he do from here? Likes to shoot from the edge of the box at times, lays it off instead, and Maite caught between two minds whether to pull the trigger or perhaps feed it back into the forward. Lovely build-up though from the 28-year-old Spaniard.
It's fantastic footwork, wasn't it? He come off that right-hand side onto his left foot, and I thought he was going to pull the trigger. He had a little pass out wide to Ansaldi if he wanted to. He chose the simpler pass when he probably should have went for goal. Good work from Falque, that. That's what Torino need, get him and Belotti on the ball.
A few rumours this summer that Inter themselves were looking to pinch Falque from Torino. That move never came to fruition. Politano trying to feed it into Icardi, who was just a little flat-footed.
Torino just having a tough time. Moretti at 37's having a difficult afternoon so far up against Politano.
Silvestri. This flick on, can't find Belotti. Good work by Asamoah. Rai goes back to the keeper. One of the steals of the summer, Stefan de Vrij from Lazio on a free.
Very good defender alongside Skriniar, who I like an awful lot.
Icardi able to turn his man. Kulu left on the deck. Icardi continues. Can't find Perisic this time. Just seem to look a threat whenever they inject something a little bit of pace into the game. Inter.
Yeah, the urgency is good, even though they've got the 1-0 lead. They're not just keeping the ball for possession's sake. So you can see there's a bit of speed about their passing, which is good to watch. I always think when you watch Inter, when they move the ball quicker and they're passing slick, they're a good side to watch. It's the ball out wide to Asamoah. He seems to be the free man at the moment.
Looking to use that space. De Silvestri jockeying him, allowing him to still come forward. Falque. Izo, brave defending to say the least. Asamoah wins it back. It's a fair challenge too. Perisic looking for Icardi. Beautiful knockdown. Politano with the header. Just couldn't beat the keeper. Wonderful interlinking play between Inter's front three.
Yeah, stand-up cross from Perisic, unselfish from Icardi. I just wonder if Politano, if he has that one back, he can try and take it on the volley. I just don't think the header from Icardi's got enough power on it, which is then difficult to try and guide it in one of the corners. But they are a threat, Inter. Just turning the screw over the last 10 minutes.
The free kicks, Ronaldo penalised this time.
Showing no signs of tiredness, Perisic, as he started the game really well. The demanding World Cup.
He missed one game last season as well. I mean, he can be in the team. He wants to be in the team and play every single minute whenever possible.
He's a very durable player, isn't he? He's priceless these days.
And he is again, laying it off. Politano. Trying to make his first real impact on this Inter side.
That was the one thing that surprised me about Croatia in the World Cup, was how fit the players were. I thought Luka Modric in the games, and Brozovic, and especially Perisic when needed in extra time. I thought their fitness levels were excellent. At no point did I ever think, including Mandzukic in that the Croatian players ever looked tired.
You've got that sort of fitness in your front line and the heart of your midfield, and possibly in defence with Vasalko able to play, you see, a right back or right wing back. It's a very valuable asset to have, particularly as Inter once again look to negotiate the Champions League. Politano gets the back heel from Brozovic, who gets it back once again in space. Couldn't play it in front of Perisic. I think that's what the forward was trying to say to him. Vecino skips away from one challenge. All just running away from him.
You just feel watching this game the way it's unfolding, and if Inter can find that final pass, there's not going to be too much time before they get the second goal, because they're creating some half chances and the football's really good.
Politano gets the layoff. Perisic looking for support on the overlap. Vasalko, 3 in the box waiting. Politano with the shoulder, unorthodox, and didn't have the power to find either Asamoah or Vecino on the pullback.
Yeah, just a little trick that wasn't probably necessary from Politano. It shows the confidence levels.
Soriano looking to steam his way through once again, almost found Belotti, who in turn was looking to lay it to Falque, just half a yard away from a bit of combination play on the edge of the final third themselves, Torino.
Torino's play has been a little bit more sporadic than Inter's. They've been a lot slicker, and they seem to be attacking with plenty of vigour at the moment, where Torino are just trying to get a foothold in the game.
Once again, a little spell of possession, we'll just do that. Of course, a reminder, this isn't the end of the Serie A weekend. Tomorrow night, Roma take on Atalanta here on 11 Sports. Going into next weekend as well, more Serie A action coming your way. Friday night, AC Milan take on Roma. Their first home game of the new campaign here at San Siro.
Di Francesco's building a good side at Roma, isn't he? Justin Kluivert's been a major signing and a star player for them so far. They've still got Cengiz under, Patrick Schick, and in Dzeko they've got fantastic midfield. The referee saw in that one, really. You certainly don't think it's a foul from Salco.
If anything, it looks like Ansaldi. He's kicked straight through the Inter midfielder.
It was almost like Ansaldi was taking the shot on. This is the work from Riccardi. I think Mikula needs to do a lot better and stop the cross, but what a pullback. And he just runs off his marker there. It's a terrific hit.
Showing any signs of happiness, is he though, Spalletti?
No, it's funny, you'd think Mazzurri's side had just gone 1-0 at the way he was acting there, and Spalletti didn't seem bothered that his side had just took the lead.
Meantime, Saldi just having to depart for the moment. And a magic spray as well needed.
I think it was one of those where Ansaldi was just about to take the shot on, and he didn't see Vasalko coming in on the blind side, who just nicked it away from him. He's just about to pull the trigger there on his left foot, and he catches Vasalko in around the calf. Sometimes you can't just jar a knee when you take a shot on like that, and it looks as though Ansaldi's struggling.
So it's going to be the end of his evening as well, which is a big shame. After missing last weekend through suspension, tonight it's going to come to a premature end after just 20 minutes.